What's up, and welcome to the newest segment on Fall to Summer with our newest host, Bex. Go on and introduce everybody, and let's roll.
All right, I'm Bex. I'm one of the newest members of the team. I'm going to be asking y'all questions about human nature, which is our topic for the night. Let's all introduce ourselves. We'll start with Kipper.
Hi, I'm Kipper. I'm a very nice young man. I actually came from Merlin here, his seed, and I'm proud to say that. Let's go with who's next, please.
All right.
I'm Nakia. I'm 25 and I'm new to the podcast. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Big facts. I'm Merlin. I'm not really new. Say again.
Am I going now? Okay, anyways. I'm Minnie and I'm 24 and I'm new also. So nice to meet all of you guys.
Nice to meet you.
We're extremely happy, Merlin and I, to have all of you on for this topic. Tonight is mostly an open discussion on human nature. So let's get into it, okay? Everyone ready?
Yep.
All right. So our first question of the night is, as humans, are we better at creation or destruction?
Personally, I've always felt like there's a mix of the two.
All right, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, I want.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I was basically gonna say what he was gonna say, but I think basically one overlaps the other technically, because it all depends on the who you are and what you prefer.
All right, go ahead.
I like to agree with them both. I believe that I think we are creative beings. I think that would outweigh our destruction. Because not to kind of get on into the taboo side of things, but we were created through a creative energy, which is sex. So I do believe that we are creative beings, but we can be very destructive. We can be very destructive. Yeah. So yeah.
I'd like to say I was not created through sex. I don't know about the rest of you guys. What? My parents told me I came from the store. They dropped me off. They even said they flew by and dropped me off at night and I fell on the ground. So that's why I'm so stupid. But past that, I don't know.
That's believable, Murray. That's believable.
Merlin's one of the smartest people I know in this world.
Older Merlin.
Kipper?
I'd say we're both very creative and destructive, but I think the thing that's most destructive is what we're creating. Mm-hmm. I'd say automobiles, all these different jobs, this technology, and I'd say it does great things for the world, but it's also kind of tearing us apart because we're losing touch with reality and ourselves while all this is going on around us, and it's just complete madness. Well, what's the Nintendo logo going on? Does anybody else see that?
Yeah. Okay. She's reconnecting. All right. So what I believe is, the saying that nothing lasts forever and all things must come to an end. Everything we create, we knowing it's going to be destroyed at some point. Whether, it's, having a child, like you give birth to a child knowing that they're going to die someday. Burn down. I believe that while we do it unintentionally, everything we create to eventually be destroyed.
I'm sorry, I was having trouble. You were reconnecting the whole time. Do you mind saying that again?
I heard her.
Okay, I was saying everything that we create, whether it's, having a child or, buying a house, like everything that we create knowing it's going to be destroyed someday. So whether that's, buying a house that 100 years from now could be destroyed, or, giving birth to a child that is eventually going to die someday from something.
Yeah.
While we're doing it unintentionally, everything that we're creating with the knowledge that it's not always going to be here. So that's where I believe it goes hand in hand.
Very true.
I agree.
Right. Is everyone ready for the second question?
Yep.
Actually, you're gonna have to give us a second. On my end, Nikia's not actually loading, and on top of that, we're getting a little frame lag. Would we mind switching over?
I could see her on my side.
Yeah, she's fine on my end.
I'm gonna reconnect then, and then we can continue for sure. Hopefully, Parker can cut this, but I can pause the video, in fact, and cut that. Next question.
All right. The next question is, what is something terrifying we have all come to accept as human nature? All right.
I think for me personally, it would be death, dying. Even though it shouldn't be that terrifying, I believe it really is. The mystery of it all. We don't really know what's going to happen afterwards, so it kind of terrifies me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I agree, because that's the first thing that comes to mind with most people. The first thing is death. Like, that's the main thing that people are terrified of, even though we really have no control over it, But me personally, I think eventually you just come to terms that you have no control of it. So why not, just enjoy life, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if it's
Right.
not really necessarily human nature, death, exactly. I know that's kind of off topic. Personally, what I feel is human nature is hatred. Because that's a human emotion that just seems to always pop up in the weirdest amount of times in everyone that I've actually known, Even dogs, for some reason, experience hatred in some form or fashion, even if it's just towards the vet, when they go to the vet, and they learn, oh no, I hate this building, I don't want to be here, let's go type stuff. But it's just an emotion that I feel that's what I had to come to terms with, that everyone eventually hates something in their life. Some people choose to be racist, some people choose to hate certain things after certain experiences, and some people just have irrational fears of things, and that sucks, but it's something I had to come to accept. But death, on the other hand, I feel like that's a product of our environment. Everything dies. It's not something distinctly human, that's not something I'd say is universal to just us, Everything dies, even the planet, even the solar system, everything. That's a law based in our dimension. It's nature.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's just nature.
Right. Kipper?
You're gonna repeat the question, please?
What is something terrifying we have all come to accept as human nature?
I'm gonna have to piggyback off Nakia here and go with death. For some odd reason, especially being really younger, that was always the biggest thing I thought about for hours on end at night, is knowing that your parents are gonna die one day, everyone around you is gonna die one day, the entire planet one day will eventually have almost a reset on it, like it's been happened in the past before. And as fun and excited as I am to experience what's going to be on the other end, it's still one of the scariest thoughts to come into my head whenever I start to think about that. And that's all I have to say.
I agree.
Yes, I believe that for a lot of people, death is something that's terrifying. But there's one thing in this world that I think scares me more, that I find more terrifying. And that's being forgotten. There are very few people that, get remembered. I mean, guys, honestly, tell me, do you, like, even with like your own family, do you know what your, okay, for instance, do you know the name of your great 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 grandmother?
Nope.
And that's your own family member. That's someone that lived not even 200 years ago. That's not even like 3 generations away, right?
Yep.
Like,
That is someone
for
in my
your own family,
that
not
would be 3 generations, like a couple hundred years, only because my people live at least 100 years.
yeah, but so like, you see what I'm saying? Like, being forgotten, like leaving this world, not only not knowing what's after this, but for no one, not even those who you loved in this life, to remember you. I think that's something that's scarier than death. To even have the memory of you die. Like, any sign that you ever were, to completely vanish. I think that
Yeah,
that's
that is pretty terrifying.
I guess.
I didn't mean to disagree with everyone.
I know, I totally
I
agree
feel
with
like
that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, May.
I don't know if this is off topic, but also I want to say is it's pretty sad how you have to be somebody famous in order for people to remember you. Like,
I'd like to add to that, like, I think it is very important that we do work on like leaving a legacy behind so that we aren't forgotten, even if we're just remembered by our family in general, you know, leave some type of trail so that the future generations will know who we are, you know. That's very important.
In a lot of Hispanic cultures, during like Cinco de Mayo and stuff like that, they put pictures of all of their like past relatives, and you know, all of these pictures and stuff, to help remember who these people were, because it said like, if you truly forget them, then like there's truly nothing left of them in any run.
yep, and they bring
Sure.
things that you know that person might have liked, you know, just to celebrate them
And honor them, yeah.
All right, is everyone ready for the next question?
Heck yeah.
Yep.
All right. Do you believe that human nature, so this is a 2-part question. Do you believe that human nature is constant or molded by culture and society? Right. Go ahead, May.
I'm gonna say it's not constant. I think in a way it different cultures is molded because, for example, different cultures have different perspectives on the way you should be and act, like the way you have to act or the things that you have to go by. And constantly we have to look up, you know, look up to the people over us. Basically, I don't know if that's making any sense, but
Yeah, it is.
I'm finished.
Okay. I like to add to that. I believe that that's true. You know, it's definitely based off of culture because, like she said, each culture has its own belief system. It has its own perception of how life should be, how we should be as humans. Down to the T, like everything about like different cultures, different religions, and all that. It's all different. So it's definitely based off of culture, from my opinion.
What about you, Kip? What do you think?
I need to repeat the question again, bro. You know my mind doesn't work this fast.
I think the question was, is human nature constant or is it based off of culture, right?
Is it molded by culture and society?
Yeah, okay.
I think it's most definitely been always molded by culture because every generation, every decade is different. Every decade, not even the whole generation by itself, but every decade molds a new trend, a new style of life, and we're always advancing in a lot of different ways. I don't think it's ever just constant. That's all I have to say.
I agree.
I also have to totally
All
agree with
right.
Kip. Only because I feel as if human nature has to evolve with humans, you know? I mean, that only makes sense, you know? It's our nature, and it's going to evolve as we evolve through the times. And in honesty, in what I call the Middle Ages, the present times that we're in, I feel as if human nature is evolved to something I never thought it would, you know? It's just like, we're so much different than what was depicted in like the 1990s and like the 1980s of what the future would be, you know? And I'm like, kind of feel a little cheated. Like, fuck human nature and fuck the culture. Where's my flying car?
All right. So the follow-up question to that is, can human nature be completely changed by culture and society? Where do you think the limit ends?
I think a great example. Sorry.
Go ahead, Minnie.
My bad. Okay. So I'm gonna say I think to a certain extent, yes, because we all want change, but I think it starts with us, basically. And we make up this world basically because, basically without humans, there's no anything. Like basically, everything is all about humans. And I feel like everybody's always talking about change this, change that, but nobody's making a difference. Nobody's really changing anything, basically.
I
And
disagree.
we're also quick to judge a lot of different things. And, you know,
I disagree. I feel like the planet would be fine without us. What do you mean? It's not all about humans. It's somewhat about humans for sure. We make it about us, but it's not all about us. We tend to forget about the other environmental things that we come into contact with, you know, and kind of just make it about us, you know, like what about that group of ducks? How are they going to get to the other side of their environment between this superhighway?
I mean, one point in time, it used to be all about animals. So,
I mean, we are animals
That's
to
what
an
I was about to
extent,
say.
Technically, yeah.
but
I'm a beast. What can I
sorry.
say?
Who is next?
I would have to ask you to kind of repeat the question just to kind of
Thank
give
you.
me a
Thank
refresher.
you.
Absolutely. So, can human nature be completely changed by culture and society? And if so, like to what extent would it end?
Um, I believe it can, in a sense. And I think it's all based off of what's influencing us as humans, if that makes sense. You know, yeah, that's kind of like a tricky one there, but like I just feel like whatever influences us is what we're going to pretty much evolve to. Like what we're paying the most attention to is what we're going to become. And who knows? Like, I don't know. I can't say.
Kipper?
I think it has been completely changed. So I mean, if you look way back to around times of the Civil War, we had general respect for our neighbors and other people in the world. We had a lot of different beliefs back then. And now you look at your window and you just see kids with their pants to their knees, slapping their moms around and shooting other kids in the face for a bag of weed and a lollipop. So I think we have completely changed as a culture, 110%.
I agree.
Yup.
But can I add something like, what if, way before we could even remember, or anybody could have even kept a record of, like, what if we're just repeating, history, if that makes sense? Like, what if it's just we've always been this way and we're just evolving in a different way and it's just being expressed in a different way, Does that make sense?
History
Yeah.
always repeats itself.
Well, I think if we were to be in a sense going back to a previous state we had been in, I don't think it would be evolution because evolution is the state of moving forward. I think it would well, I guess yes. While we're getting more technologically advanced and evolving in that sense, it would in a way, it would be, as human nature, devolve on our end. We would be devolving back to a way that we once had been if this was us repeating history.
Kinda not, only because I feel as if like the earth itself is going to keep homeostasis, right? And like we said earlier, we constantly destroy everything. And like I said earlier, we do not care about the environment or the other factors that make us live or the factors that make life possible on earth. Eventually, it's going to wipe it clean so it can start again and make more flora and fauna. And we won't be there. That's straight up. It's going to exterminate us by its own force and its own factor. And we're going to have to start over again. And I feel like that's what's happening at the end of the day. That's history. That's what ends up happening on all the planets until they become suns or stars, collapse on into themselves.
But somebody's got to survive, though. Just like in every religious text, every religious story, there's always someone that survived to keep record of.
Well, not really. Not with science. There just has to be DNA, atoms, amoebas, cells.
So what my opinion on this is, I believe human nature to be, how human nature is, we are human nature. So we are, the society, and we're what's making culture. So it to me, to an extent, it's one and the same. So if culture and, society is causing human nature to change, it's not those things changing it for us. It's us inadvertently changing it. We're not doing it directly. We're doing it, we're creating new cultures and, improving on things that, maybe we weren't the best at before, right? And that's changing us. And as we're changing, human nature is changing with us. So it's like I was kind of trying to say, human nature is evolving with us because we are human nature.
Looks like we lost someone there.
We lost Kyle. I think he'll be back.
Well, with that being said, how about we take one break there, and that will be part 1. And you guys can come back and join us for part 2 when we upload it. Thank you for tuning in. Do subscribe, comment, like, and I don't know, share if you like, do buy the merch. Check out our merch, it's lit. Links should all be in the description. Any topics that we may have brought up that can be Googled will be down there. Have a nice one, and thank you again for tuning in. Deuces.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, buy merch. Be sure to tune in next time to my next video on the Bexecution of Exploitation playlist. Bye.